This is Cheryl Morgan in Epinal in France, and we're about to take a walk from my hotel to where the convention is taking place, and you'll get to see what a lovely town Epinal is. You might notice, by the way, that it's been raining quite a bit here. Thankfully it's dried out now, but excuse me, has been a little damp today, but it doesn't appear to have dampened anybody's spirits at all. So Epinal is a town in the Vosges region of France. It's on the banks of the Moselle river, and you can see a sign here saying that. And if we take a look down into the river, hopefully you can just see a heron fishing there in the reeds. The town has been here since medieval times, and again, if we zoom in, I hope you can just make out that there's a castle up there on the hill. The buildings down in the town itself are rather more modern, but still quite ancient by American standards. The river here, as you can see, is fairly choked with weeds. I guess there's not a lot of actual traffic up and down it. There is, running parallel to it, what the locals call the canal, but it's not really like what British would call a canal. It's more of a drainage channel, I think, and that's even more difficult to navigate. There are lots of rapids, small ones, but still not the sort of thing you'd want to take a boat over, and there are race courses for kayakers there. David Anthony Durham was getting quite excited about it. He's apparently a keen kayaker. Just moving away from the river for a minute, we'll see that if any British fans visit, there's a place for them to go and drink. It's a pub called Le Wellington. Quite why the people of Epinal have chosen to celebrate Wellington isn't clear. Perhaps they don't like Bonaparte very much in this part of France, but maybe also it's because Wellington is famous for his boots, and the town of Epinal has an obsession with the fairy tale of Puss in Boots. There are pictures of the cat all over the town, and indeed it's also the symbol of the local art museum, which hopefully we'll be taking a look at somewhere else. Oh, by the way, McDonald's are everywhere, sadly. I'm just coming up on one of the bridges over the Moselle here. As you'll see, somebody's been having a bit of fun with the design around these bridges. And then beyond that, we will see there are more flags. Trying not to get run over here. I'm not entirely sure what all of these flags are, but I'm guessing that they are flags of the local nobility, or possibly of towns in the Vosges region. If you take a look up on the lamppost here, you'll notice that there's an advert for the convention. The con is run in conjunction with the town of Epinal. In fact, there's a representative of the town, I think it's the deputy mayor, on the judging committee for the Prix Imaginales, the awards that they give out here. And admission to the convention is free, which means, of course, that the people of the town get a lot back in return for their sponsorship of the event. Just want to stop a minute here and take a look at some of the nice old buildings that we can see on the far bank. There are a lot of buildings like that around this part of France. I saw some very nice ones from the train in Nancy as we rolled through. There is a bit of local shopping here. The occasional chain store that you might recognise from the UK or the USA, and also of course the inevitable plague of mobile phone stores. There's another bridge here, again with some interesting architecture, and over the far side Marché Couvert, covered market. I think probably I'll pay a visit to that at some point and see if I can find any interesting food there. Further on is a very old looking stone bridge. I'm sure that's been here for quite a while. That's the one we're going to cross, and you can see in the distance there's a lot of trees. That's the park in which the convention is being held. The eating in Epinal is, as you might expect in France, very good. We went out to a restaurant last night called La Bagatelle, and it was very, very good food indeed. I had a 3-course meal and alcohol, and it cost me all of €23, €23.50 I think. So I'm well pleased with the quality of food in France. Here again, one of the notices the town has put up, and a very strange thing involving bells. I'm not quite sure what that's supposed to do, but it looks good. And if we take a look around the other side of this, lots more about the convention. Embarquez pour de nouveaux mondes. Let's go and find some new worlds. And I see here somebody in an interesting costume or two, as you might expect from attendees at a science fiction and fantasy convention. Much of the convention is taking place in tents, and you might think that with all the rain that we've been having, you can see some of the puddles on the path ahead of me, that this is not a good idea for a convention. But actually they are extremely good quality tents, and I've been wandering around in them all morning and there's been no sign of the rain at all. So that's perfectly okay. The only issue was getting back and forth between the various tents without getting too wet. There's a building just coming up here on the right, which we'll be able to see more easily when we get out from under the trees. Now this is where some of the larger panels are taking place, and there's also an art installation in there. The convention is taking place in conjunction with the local authorities. There is actually a fair amount of community stuff going on, and this particular stall is selling local produce. There's an enormous range of fabulous sausages that they have here. I've been tasting some this morning and they're absolutely delicious, and I'll be bringing some back with me. Here is the rest of the convention. You can see Bruce Holland Rogers there, just on his way to another event, perhaps in that tent. And here is the gaming tent. This is the welcome tent where they're handing out programs and the like. And then got the big dealer's room tent, the Hall of Mirrors, programming room, and that's the entrance to the other programming room. As you can see, there are an awful lot of people here, and I'm now going to dive in and see who I can find.